Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am very sorry I have not posted since the last video. I have been very busy with work. I do work in retail, so it's, the holidays just passed, so we were very busy. I have been really exhausted. I come home and of course be a mom, and so I just haven't been able to film and post. So I'm very sorry about that, but soon I will be able to post a little bit more consistent, and show y'all a little bit of everything. So today I will be talking about my birth story, just like I told you in the last video that my next video was going to be about it. We will probably summarize it a little bit, just because I feel like if I explain the whole thing, it's going to be a very long video. So I was induced April 2nd of 2018. That day I had a doctor's appointment, and so I went to my doctor's appointment, and that appointment was a checkup, but it was also to see if I was going to need to be induced or if I could wait until my due date, which my due date was April 10th of 2018. So I went in, and my doctor checked me, did an ultrasound, and made sure things were good. Well, they weren't very good. Santiago was running out of fluid, so basically that's the reason why I had to get induced, just because my doctor said that she would rather go ahead and get it over with than wait another week for him to come out, and in case things didn't go out good or anything. She just wanted to go ahead and just get him out. I got induced at 4 p.m. that day. I went in, I did my paperwork, I got my room, I changed, they got me ready. Memo, my fiance, he wasn't there. After an appointment, he went back to work. I told him that it was okay for him to go to work, and that I will just let him know if anything changes, any emergencies, or if the baby's coming or anything like that. So the person that was with me was my mother-in-law. She was with me in the beginning, and then later on my mom showed up. So I got my IV and everything put in, and the way they induced me is they inserted a capsule. So there was going to be 3 capsules inserted, and I only got to 2. So the first one got put in around maybe 5:30ish or so, around that time. And my mother-in-law was there whenever they put it in. So they wait around 3 hours to insert the second one. So during those 3 hours, nothing happened. I didn't have any contractions. I was fine. My water didn't break. And I was normal, just laying there, just relaxing. Didn't feel anything. Baby was still good. After those 3 hours, they inserted the second capsule, and then by that time my mom was there. So the second capsule, it worked better than the first one. I actually started contracting with the second capsule, and I started dilating. So in the beginning I was just laying there and I didn't feel anything yet. Memo showed up at 8 p.m. Which that was 3 hours after the second capsule was put in. And so whenever Memo showed up, I was already feeling a little bit of the contractions. I was feeling that a little bit. He was there, and of course he was being the best support ever. He was massaging me when I needed it in the back, because of course when you're contracting, like, you feel it on your back and everywhere. Basically, it's so uncomfortable. My mom was still there. And then my brother-in-law showed up, but he just showed up to just have some company there, and then make sure everything was good. And then he ended up leaving a little bit after that. And well, in that hospital there was only supposed to be one person staying overnight, and since my mom drove 30 minutes from where she lived, then she was the one that stayed there, and I just told Memo to go ahead and go home. The hospital was like maybe 5 to 8 minutes away from our home, so I just told him if anything changes that I would just give him a call and for him to hurry up. So I was contracting very, very bad. I was crying. I guess because of the pain that you feel, it's not that you want to cry, but the tears come out by themselves, because that's literally how I felt, like the tears were coming out on their own. And so I was just asking for my epidural, but my doctor didn't want me to have my epidural until I was at least 3 centimeters, and I was 2 centimeters whenever I was hurting, which that was, you know, some people they can handle those contractions at 2 centimeters, but I couldn't handle them, which everybody's different, but I couldn't handle them at 2 centimeters. And later on, I finally dilated to 3 centimeters, and I was like, okay, can I please get my epidural? And they went ahead and came in, and I got my epidural in. Well, during my epidural, of course, my mom had to get in front of me to be able to hold me, because you know, whenever you're gonna get your epidural, you kind of get like this, and they put a pillow in front of you and you hug it and you kind of like bend down, and they put the epidural. Well, my mom was in front of me, and she was supposed to be holding me in case I moved or anything. Well, what happened is that my mom saw the needle, and she got very lightheaded, and she passed out on me, like literally passed out on me. The nurse was able to catch her because she noticed her and was like, ma'am, are you okay? And mom was like, no, and then she fell. And I guess with all of that, like, I got so distracted from it that I didn't even feel whenever the doctor put in the epidural. Like, I did not feel it. I was like crying because I was so scared of the way it was gonna feel. I was literally freaking out whenever they were about to put the epidural. But thank God that I didn't feel it, and it went just fine. Well, they finally got my mom good, and then they got me to lay down. As soon as I lay down, my water broke. So that was a good thing that they didn't break it. It broke on its own. So when my water broke, they checked again to see how dilated I was, and I want to say 4 centimeters. I already had the epidural, so I was good. I did not feel anything. Like, literally, as soon as they put it, I was like numb. The only thing, of course, because my water broke a little bit after they put epidural, I did feel my water break, but it wasn't like you know, a big, I don't know, like a big spot. It was on my bed, so my water broke on my bed. But I did feel like the water come out. So after that, you know, the nurse just told me to go ahead and just rest, go to sleep and everything. So me and my mom, we went to sleep. I didn't wake up. I want to say by the time they put the epidural, it was around 2 a.m. So that's the time I went to sleep, and then I slept through all the way 5 a.m. And so at 5 a.m. they came in and they checked me, and I was at 5 centimeters, and I was like, when they said that, I was like, what? Like, I have not dilated. And I was just, I'm like, kind of like not frustrated, but I was like, I can't believe I haven't dilated. That time I had texted Memo to make sure he was up, and he was up, and I didn't tell him to come yet because it wasn't really an emergency, but 30 minutes passed and they checked me again, and I was already at 9 centimeters. Like, literally from 5 to 5:30, I was at 9 centimeters. So they were like, okay, like, we have to prepare you, like, you're almost there. And that's when I was like, okay, you need to come right now. And so Memo called his mom, my mother-in-law, to come, and my mom was already there. So they were the 3 main people that I had in my room whenever I had Santiago. So during that little moment, Memo had already showed up, and my mother-in-law. During that time, Santiago was fading away a little bit. So the contractions were very, very strong for Santiago. So he was kind of like fading away, and they were like, if this continues to happen, then we're gonna have to have an emergency C-section. And I was very, very scared. Literally, my blood pressure was super low. I was just freaking out. And I got super lightheaded, and I was like, I need to throw up. Like, I need to throw up. And they were like, okay. So they got me like a bucket, and I turned around and I threw up. I threw up 2 times. And after I threw up, I started feeling better. And I was like, okay, I feel so much better. And they were like, yeah, like Santiago's good. The baby's good. He's back. And I was like, thank God. During the whole time, y'all, like, I was literally praying to God. Like, I was praying for a safe delivery, for a good delivery, for just everything to just come out nice and smooth. But he was back, and whenever he came back, they checked me again, and I was ready to push. So on my own, like, while they were checking me, while they were getting everything ready, on my own, when I was feeling contractions, I would like push on my own, kind of like practicing, I guess. But I was like trying to get it ready. And finally my nurse came in, my doctor came in, and I was like kind of like, they were having me do like little baby pushes at first. So I was pushing and pushing, and that was whenever they were like, okay, you're ready to push to get the baby out. And I was like, okay. So that's whenever they like put your legs up, and that's whenever you do the real deal. So it took me 45 minutes to push Santiago out. It was not bad at all. I didn't really feel tired whenever I was pushing him out. I didn't feel anything, of course, because of the epidural. Thank God for the epidural. I did not feel anything. I was good. I was fine. Whenever I got my baby, which I'm gonna show a video of my birth here in a little bit, but when Santiago came out, I literally just bawled. Like, when you have your baby, your baby, like when you receive him, it's just like the most amazing thing and the most beautiful thing you could ever experience, feel, anything. I was just crying, and I couldn't believe it. Like, my first child, my first baby, my first everything is right here laying on my chest. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. It was the best feeling ever. Well, after that, after I was able to hold him for a little bit, they took him, of course, to like get him cleaned up and everything. That's whenever you have to push or they take out your placenta. But my doctor had told me to push, which I pushed it, and while I was pushing my placenta out, my uterus was coming out with my placenta. So my doctor was like, hold on, stop pushing. And I was like, okay. And you know, I started hearing her say her uterus is trying to come out, and I was like, what? And so she literally, like, I guess grabbed my uterus and like put her whole arm inside and like put my uterus back in. I don't know how she did it, but all I know is it was the most painful thing I have felt. Literally, like, my whole labor, that was the most painful thing I have felt through the whole thing, putting my uterus back in, because it was like she was like punching and just trying to put it back in there, and it was so painful. Which I have a video where, well, my mom, or I don't know who, was recording Santiago like getting cleaned and everything, and in the background you literally hear me scream to death. Like, I'm just screaming and screaming and screaming. That moment was just the worst moment, and I hope that never happens again, like whenever I give birth. but if it does, then I mean, what can I do, right? But my doctor did say that was like, how many times did she say? I think that was her second time that she's ever, from, I don't know, I think she said 10 years that she's been delivering, that happened to her. But that's what happened. And just a little bit after that, I got stitched up. I was a 1st-degree tear, so it wasn't that big of a tear. Hopefully my next one isn't that big either. But yeah, and like after my delivery, I was up and ready. They like cleaned me up, and my nurse, everybody, you know, left the room, and my nurse gave me Santiago, and I was doing skin to skin. I was breastfeeding, and then I was just loving on my baby for a little bit, and then my mom and them were able to carry him for a little bit, and then they took him away so I could get up and shower, and then from showering they took me to my new room. And I was, honestly, y'all, I felt good. I felt normal after my labor. After my delivery, I felt normal, and I want to say it was because I rested very good throughout the night, and so that's why I really think that I felt good, and I don't know, I felt happy. I felt just amazing, to be honest. My stomach, it went it didn't go completely flat, but it was like if I never had a baby inside of me. It was crazy, but it was because, I want to say, this is why I think that happened. It was because in the beginning of my pregnancy, I did lose 10 pounds, and then I gained those 10 pounds back, but it was like I gained those 10 pounds, and then I gained like maybe like 10 more. I was at like 127 whenever I gave birth. I did not gain that much weight, just because in the beginning of my pregnancy I was very, very nauseous. Like I could not hold anything down in my first trimester. It was a nightmare. It was bad. But after that, my pregnancy went, I wouldn't say the smoothest, but it went pretty good. I loved my pregnancy, and I cannot wait until I'm pregnant again, till I have my second child. But that's gonna have to wait, because right now Santiago is 9 months, and I do want to wait a little while. Of course, if I was to end up pregnant right now, then, you know, it's a blessing from God. But I'm not trying to get pregnant right now. I do want to wait maybe a year and a half until I can have my second one. But that is how my birth story went, and I will insert a video, so make sure y'all watch it.
I got a warm blanket over there. He's furry. Look at that hair on his back. He's so furry.
Oh my god.
There you go. Keep crying.
Yep. Did you just pee everywhere, kid?
Yeah.
He's hairy.
He is hairy.
Who does he take after? You've got the eyes that you worked so hard for, Mom.
Yeah, that's
Big eyes.
Thank y'all very much for watching. Make sure you like this video and subscribe. Don't forget to do that. I'll see y'all guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.